I don't want it to affect my marriage. And I don't think that's her main reason, but I can see how it might have affected my life as a baby and then not my marriage.
Sophie and Rob are diving deep this week. They're going back to Sophie's childhood and how the way she grew up might be impacting on their relationship today. Now, we all know that there are 3 people in their marriage: Rob, Sophie, and Sophie's mum. So could the key to saving their marriage lie with Sophie addressing the skeletons from her past?
My mum's addiction issues has impacted me as an adult. I don't know how to set boundaries. I don't know how to express my emotions in a healthy way.
This is a huge step. It's a long overdue realisation for Sophie to have. But has it come too late? Well, before we get into that, let's rewind to the start. So the last time we saw the pair, they were doing group therapy. But when we join them today, the therapy session is thankfully only with Stacey and Florian. Yeah, no Natalie to derail everything. Now, the exercise they're conducting today is called sand tray therapy, and it involves using figurines to express what they want to say. To Rob, this sounds like a brilliant plan.
Sophie is so hypersensitive to just like the way I say something. So I like the idea of like painting a picture with these toys where I can kind of say what I want to say without saying it.
Rob has a point. I mean, the communication between him and Sophie from the very beginning has been shit. They seem incapable of talking about things like adults without it descending into a huge fight. Typically a fight where one of them runs away. So perhaps using these toys as a proxy for themselves, using these toys to express what they want to say, might be a great way for them to start communicating without one of them getting offended. Or maybe not, we'll see. Now, it all starts off fairly easily. They begin by sharing a fun memory that they've had as a couple together.
And I took him to a zoo that had like a lot of like different types of animals. And I don't know how, but do you remember the animals escaped and we got chased by a bunch of the zoo animals?
This was a memory from before they joined the show. And by the sounds of things, believe it or not, it sounds like they actually had fun together back then. I know, you wouldn't believe it from their time on the show. Now, this is a lovely, sweet, light way for them to begin this therapy. But things soon turn a lot more serious when they have to start showing their relationship journey. Now, Rob begins by going to what he believes to be at the heart of most of their issues: Sophie's mum.
The rhino is her mom, and the rhino is worried about this golden chest instead of worrying about little baby Sophie.
I bet Rob has been waiting a very long time to get a free pass at calling Sophie's mum a rhino. That was never going to be an opportunity he was going to turn down, was it? Now, as I'm sure you recall, Rob and Sophie's mum really do not like each other, and it's a very mutual feeling.
He's stupid, he's grumpy, he's the epitome of a knob. You can't be with this guy, you cannot marry him, Sophie.
You are the most biggest gaslighter twat I've ever met in my life.
Mom,
no, I hate him.
stop.
I hate him.
Claire has tried her very best to break up this relationship. Even after they got married, her attempts didn't stop. If anything, they got worse. Now, listening to her mum constantly badmouth her husband has meant that Sophie has been stuck in the middle constantly. But the problem is, especially from Rob's perspective, Sophie lets her mum get away with it. She never seems to stick up for Rob. And you can tell that over time, this seems to have really worn Rob down. I mean, it can't be a nice feeling knowing that your mother-in-law hates your guts and is constantly trying her best to make you look bad in front of your wife.
Sophie's mom never wanted to see me as someone worthy, someone good enough, and I am very hurt.
Instead of getting angry or defensive, Sophie begins to cry, and I think that's progress. It shows that she's empathetic. She's not only seeing things from Rob's perspective, but feeling that pain. Now, Rob takes things a step further when he begins drawing lines between Sophie's upbringing and the way that she is today, the problems that they face today.
By the time I'm in the picture, all I am is the first thing that's really pulling Sophie away from this entire life that Sophie's had with her mom.
Now, I'm going to overlook the fact that Rob is presenting himself as the knight in shining armour here, because there's a deeper issue to get into. Heaven knows he isn't a saint, but the point he makes, the idea that Claire hates him because he's taken her little daughter away from her, is a valid one. Claire has said as much herself.
But I'm just really sad because it's like, I don't know, I don't want to share it. Yeah, just a hard day.
So with that in mind, it raises the question, what sort of mother would seek to sabotage her own daughter's marriage in a bid to try and keep her daughter close to her? Well, the answer to that is not only a super selfish mum, but a mum with deep insecurity. Insecurities that perhaps stem from the way that she raised Sophie. Now, we have been told before that Claire struggles with addiction issues. For much of Sophie's upbringing, Claire was addicted to drugs. In fact, Sophie has admitted that the dynamic between her and her mum is kind of flipped on its head. For much of her childhood, Sophie felt that she was mothering her mum. She was forced as a child to adopt a caretaker role almost. And while that is incredibly tragic, and it is great to hear that Claire is now clean, you can definitely begin to see how that history has deeply affected every part of Sophie's life.
I don't want it to affect my marriage, and I don't think that's her main reason, but I can see how it might have affected my life as a baby and then not my marriage.
Rob and Sophie for sure have a lot of issues, right? I agree that maybe Sophie's mum isn't the main issue, but it is definitely one of the big ones. Like, for as difficult as it is, it does explain a lot. For example, right, like perhaps it explains why Sophie finds it so difficult to stand up to her mum. Why she never seems to take Rob's side. Like maybe she's worried her mum is frail. Sophie has been forced into this almost like a tightrope. She's walking a tightrope and she constantly sways more towards her mum because she thinks Rob is stronger, or at least he can deal with things better than Claire can. How horrible must that weight be? Sophie's constantly walking on eggshells, worried that something she says might send her mum back into a dark place. Yeah, it's no wonder that she finally admits her mum's addiction has and does still impact her to this day.
My mum's addiction issues has impacted me as an adult. I don't know how to set boundaries. I don't know how to express my emotions in a healthy way.
This is a huge breakthrough. Sophie is realising that in order to be happy in any relationship, whether that's with Rob or anyone else, she'll need to face her past and she'll need to relearn behaviours. She'll need to learn how to express herself, how to communicate, how to be in a healthy relationship. These are all things that she hasn't seen or experienced. She never saw her mum in a healthy relationship. She hasn't learnt how to express her emotions. She's clearly kept them bottled in for most of her life. And it's really encouraging that Sophie says she wants to do the inner work that she needs to in order to heal. But, and it is a big but, this epiphany that she's just had doesn't mean that she's ready or willing to let Rob off the hook just yet.
I came into this resort kind of putting 100% of the blame on Rob, even though he does deserve that. At the same time, with everything in my past, that has also kind of stopped me from having success in my relationships.
Wow, just as I thought they were getting somewhere, they take 10 steps back. Rob isn't a saint. He definitely deserves a portion of the blame. But saying that he deserves 100% of the blame just isn't right. No relationship is one-sided. Now, the positive from this session is that they both agree, they vow to start afresh and begin putting up boundaries around their marriage. Begin excluding other people from getting involved. Protecting themselves and what they have a bit better. And there can be no doubt that that is a very successful therapy session. Perhaps arguably the most successful we've seen any couple have all season. It's left Sophie exhausted, but Rob there to take care of her as he should.
Go be a burrito. I'll roll you up. Tuck it in real tight.
Wait, I don't know.
have a little hole?
Rob might have got a few more brownie points if he actually gave her a hole to breathe out of. The poor girl's gonna suffocate in there. But it's lovely to see them having a bit of fun, actually playing together, actually spending some time without one of them running away. That's real progress, and it's so encouraging to see that Rob is even considering what more Sophie needs from him.
So I guess we're okay right now, but I feel like Sophie needs some time to just like process things. I don't want to push her to come to this party tonight if she's not feeling it, so I'll just be solo.
Both have taken huge strides today. It by no means means that their marriage is fixed. They still face a ton of issues that Sophie still seems to place 100% of the blame on Rob for, but they have undeniably made a great start today. The question is, have they left it too late to turn things around? Is it really that easy to erase history, to change the effects of your past? I guess time will tell.